Okay, it's 10:30. Again, I apologize. We do not have a quorum. So what that means is that the meeting will proceed, but we can't take any official action, meaning we can't like vote. And since the only votable item that we do is approval of the minutes, they will be pushed out until the next advisory committee meeting. So the next advisory committee meeting, we will have two sets of minutes to approve. The one from November, which we were supposed to vote on today, and today's minutes. Other than that, I think we can proceed as normal. So, so again, I want to thank everybody for their patience. It's 10:30. It's time to get started. We are conducting this WebEx meeting. I've got my camera turned on. But from time to time, I have issues with the Wi-Fi and connectivity, even in the office here. It can get overloaded. So if folks start seeing me skipping in and out, please let me know, and I will troubleshoot and address that issue. Okay, so the first order of business is to call the meeting to order. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to have our Committee Assistant Carrie Ortman call the meeting to, or call roll for the meeting.
Good morning. Phil Shawshri, Anton Farnby, Frank Huntington,
Present.
Mark Miller,
Here.
Darren Morgan, Nancy Murish, Eli Owen, Stanton Perez, Leon Scroggins, Chris Sayers,
Here.
and Glenn Younger.
Present.
With 4 members present, we do not have a quorum.
Right, thank you, Carrie, and thank you to the members who were here. Appreciate it. Okay. So next up would normally be the review and approval of our meeting minutes, but we are going to skip those. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to open it up for any committee member to have, if you have any questions or issues regarding these minutes, go ahead and raise your hand so I can see. Okay, I don't see that any of our committee members have any issues with that. Okay, so again, this is where we would call a roll call vote, but we're going to push that off until the next meeting. Okay, moving on to our next agenda item. It is the update from the Department of Consumer Affairs Executive Office. We are lucky today to have Yvonne Durantes from DCA's Board and Bureau Relations Office here today to give the update. Welcome, Yvonne.
Hi there. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Well, I will go ahead and get started then. Thank you again for having me this morning. I'm happy to be here with all of you and provide you an update on the Department of Consumer Affairs. And so I will start off with our diversity, equity, and inclusion update. So last fall, we established the department's DEI steering committee. It is comprised of 12 executive leaders from boards, bureaus, and the department, and has been working on many items, including updating the strategic planning process, training and development of an informational DEI fact sheet, which was distributed to board and bureau leadership last month. And I'm pleased to report on the progress of the committee's efforts to date. The strategic planning process has been updated to embed DEI into the process, which includes a survey, a DEI section in the environmental scan, video messages, and a brief training video. And this month's DCA Solid team will be reaching out to your bureau chief to develop or update any strategic plans that are relevant. Additionally, all of DCA's solid trainers will also be completing a 50-hour diversity, equity, and inclusion training certification program through the University of Massachusetts. And so the training will expand the availability of courses offered to all DCA employees, and employees can access and register for these 3 courses that will be available beginning June 2023. And so DCA's first Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion fact sheet has been released. Like I mentioned, it was developed as an informational tool that includes the department's 3 DEI initiatives. It memorializes DCA's service that supports DEI efforts, and it also includes terminology as it applies to DCA. And so the steering committee will continue to work on various different projects for your information, and I look forward to updating you in months ahead as we continue to make progress on DEI efforts. Moving on to advisory committee member training. So this is a reminder that there is a DCA-wide training for 2023, and this includes sexual harassment prevention training. All DCA employees and appointees, including board and advisory council members, will need to complete the sexual harassment prevention training this year. And so members must take the 2-hour supervisory training, and advisory council members must take the 1-hour non-supervisory training. This training is required every odd number, and it is online, self-paced, and it's approximately 2 hours long. The sexual harassment prevention training is available on the department's learning management system, which we commonly refer to as LMS. If you do have any questions in regard to any login information or troubleshooting, please feel free to reach out to me, and I am happy to assist you with being able to log on, register for any of the training. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me, and you're welcome to reach out via our member relations email or also directly to me at yvonne.durantes@dca.ca.gov. And for more information, we do also have a mandatory trainings page that has been created to help members identify, access, and track specified trainings. And so the page includes direct links to mandatory trainings, as well as pertinent information in terms of policies or specific training courses that you may be required to take as well. And so this page can be found at dca.ca.gov, and if you simply click on the DCA Board Member Resources Center page under the Required Board Member Training tab, you are able to find it. And again, if you have any issues, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to assist locating this page or registering for those trainings. Moving on, as this year's annual Form 700 period comes to a close, DCA and Board and Bureau Relations would like to thank all of you and your Bureau Chief who helped us achieve compliance this year. So we thank you very much. On the topic of trainings as well, in June 20th this year, we will be having our second board member orientation training of the year. It'll be offered in person in Sacramento at the Emerald Training Room. And so we are happy to have you if you need to take it. As a reminder, it is required 1 year after appointment or reappointment. And again, if you have any questions in regard to compliance, please feel free to reach out to me. And if you are not able to make the June 20th date, we are also offering it again, October 10th, at a location that will be determined, but members can register for this training via the LMS system. Moving on, in terms of virtual meetings and the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act, as you all are aware, we did have legislation passed last year amending provisions of Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act to extend the ability of state bodies, such as DCA's board and bureaus, to conduct public meetings virtually through July of 2023. And so, absent of the passing of new legislation to extend these provisions, DCA's boards and bureaus will not be allowed to conduct meetings virtually after July 1st of 2023. And so DCA is aware of legislation recently introduced, which is SB 544 by Senator Laird, which removes certain teleconference requirements from the Open Meeting Act. However, this bill does not include an urgency clause, and therefore it would not take effect until January 1st of 2024. And so therefore, boards and bureaus should be prepared to conduct public meetings in person in the meantime, beginning June 1st of 2023. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Moving on to the topic of a federal portability law. On January 5th of 2023, a new federal law took effect that enables service members and their spouses who hold professional licenses in a different state to practice in California within the same professional discipline and at a similar scope of practice. If they are required to relocate to California due to military orders, and since becoming aware of this new law, DCA has been collaborating with agency on how to best implement this law. And so DCA will share more information as it becomes available. In the meantime, should your board receive any inquiries or questions from a service member or their spouse regarding this new law, please feel free to contact our legal affairs office. And lastly, DCA did submit its 2021-2022 annual report to the legislature. The report is now available also on the DCA website. And this annual report includes a sign with the new DCA logo, and it includes additional reporting metrics, such as the military licensing data now required for all DCA boards and bureaus. And so we hope that you'll take the time to review this impressive report with all the valuable work of all the boards and bureaus. And so please reach out if you'd like for me to send you the direct link for this report. But other than that, thank you all for this opportunity to provide you an update on DCA. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Yvonne. We do appreciate your time in coming here to let us know the latest news from the executive office. So what I will do first is I will throw it open to questions from committee members. If you have any questions for Yvonne, please raise your hand so I can see and call on you. Okay, not seeing any questions from our committee members. I will open it up for public comment, public questions on what Yvonne has presented on.
And this is the moderator. We are displaying instructions on the screen. If anyone has a comment on the DCA update only, if you could look for the question mark icon, usually in the lower right of your computer screen, or behind the 3-dot other options if you're on a mobile device. You can click on the question mark, type the word comment, and click send. Then anyone may also raise their hand by clicking on the hand icon, and our calling users can press *3 to raise their hand, and each person will be given 3 minutes to speak.
Mark, I see you have your hand up.
Hi, Lynn. Yeah, do you hear me?
Yep, can hear you loud and clear.
Good. I missed, Yvonne was talking about June 20 DCA meeting. I missed what that was a training, is it?
Yeah, so it is the board member orientation training, and it is typically offered 3 times a year, and it is required for newly appointed or reappointed members. So if you have been appointed, you have 1 year to complete it. If you have been reappointed, you also have 1 year to complete that training. So just providing the following dates, and like I mentioned, our next training is June 20th, but if you're not able to make that one and you need to take it, the next date available will be October 10th.
How do we know if we need to take it or not? Do you guys send us an email?
Yes, you will receive
Okay.
an email. And
Okay.
again, it's by appointment date. So if you were appointed, it's required within 1 year of your appointment date. And if you were
Okay.
reappointed, it's also required within 1 year of your appointment date.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the
Alright.
moderator. I do not see any other requests for public comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please. Thank you, moderator. Okay, so we are moving on now to agenda item number 4, which is the Bureau Chief's introduction, welcome remarks, and Bureau updates. As always, I want to thank our committee members, even the ones who did not show up. I appreciate everybody has a lot of demands. Everyone has a lot of things on their plates and demands on their time, and I really appreciate everybody making the commitment and putting in the work and showing up here. It is much appreciated. We are, and I feel like today's situation brings this home even further. We are so close to having a full roster, but we are still short a public member and we are short a member representing the alarm industry. If you know of anybody who might be interested in serving in these spots, please let me know. We will reach out and start the process. The committee members, advisory committee members are appointed by the director of DCA, and you can access an application through DCA's homepage, or again, you can reach out to me and I can walk you through the process on my end. If you do know of anybody or have any candidates, please reach out and we will get that process kicked off. We are, as always, busy implementing legislation that went into effect in January 1. We have updates on that from both our licensing and enforcement folks, and also I will be giving updates. I know that most of you are here for AB 1244, so we will be talking about that. Agenda item number 7. Sit tight, we're almost there. We are, because I get this question every time I go out to speak, we do have, and we have never fully shut our offices because this is the rumor that won't die. DCA, the rumor is that BSIS only has telework employees. That is absolutely not true. We have never shut this office down except for, I think, once 3 years ago, very early on, when we had our first positive case. But other than that, we have always had people in the office working and teleworking, and that combination of work in the office and telework will be continuing for the foreseeable future. Yeah, so, if you have any questions on that, or if you hear this persistent rumor, please let me know so we can start really fighting back against it, because it's been 3 years and I still hear this rumor that we have shut our offices down and people can't access that, which is not true. We have a public counter that is open every day from 8 to 5. So we're working hard. Our disciplinary review hearings, based on the update that Yvonne gave, I do want to let everybody know that our disciplinary review hearings have been in person for over a year. I think actually coming up on 2 years now. So we have in-person only hearings, and it's business as usual. We've gotten back into the swing of things on that, and so we do not have any virtual disciplinary meetings that will be impacted by the July 1st deadline to have it live. Our next advisory committee meeting, however, will very likely be in person. So heads up on that. And then these are a few things that I say, every time I talk to folks is, if you are a member of or an applicant for any of the 6 professions that we oversee, strongly encourage you to apply online. It is faster, it is easier, and it will alert you right away most of the time if you are trying to submit something with an error in it. You can pay online, and it is so much faster than paper apps. So, please continue to encourage everybody that to apply online as well. We have an interesting situation where the alarm company sponsored a bill making their profession online only, no more paper apps. That seems to be the way that a lot of boards and bureaus are going, but I think that we will be hanging on to paper apps for some time into the future. So no alarm there where we're going to be banning paper apps. So we still do have paper apps. We still will have paper apps, but online apps so much quicker, so much faster, and so much more efficient. So I'm a big proponent of that. The online only profession, the alarm company, that is working out very well for them. So we are quite happy about that. I also encourage people to email us rather than call in. We do have a 1-800 number and a 916 number on our website for people to call, but I would actually encourage you to use our general inbox for inquiries instead. We have a 2 to 3 day turnaround on that, but they go to the subject matter expert within the Bureau on what you are emailing about. So the email address is bsis@dca.ca.gov. Encourage everybody to use that. That is something that, you know, we try to emphasize. If you use our inbox, it goes directly to a BSIS employee who is well-versed in the issue that you are emailing about. Very exciting news for us. At the Bureau, we have had quite a few big, heavy lifting pieces of legislation that have passed in the last 5 years. And in recognition of that, we were approved for a overall deputy chief for the Bureau. Right now, the organizational chart is there's myself, the chief, and then there are 2 deputy chiefs for the Bureau, one over licensing and one over enforcement. The new position will be right underneath me, reporting to me. And it will be over the 2 deputy chiefs. So we are doing interviews and all that fun stuff. So stay tuned. We will have an announcement soon, hopefully, on who the new Bureau deputy chief will be. And then one of the big things that is hovering on the horizon is our sunset hearing. The Bureau sunsets on January 1, 2025, unless the legislature reauthorizes us. This is something that every board and bureau goes through every 5 years or so, 5 to 6 years. We got a 1-year extension, as did many boards and bureaus due to COVID. So this next year, we will be very busy with sunset review and testifying in front of the legislature and justifying our existence and all that fun stuff. So we don't anticipate any problems, but it is a very long, very time-consuming process, the sunset review. And we issue a report that's usually about 600 or 700 pages, and that's put together by staff. So that's going to be on our plates for the next year. So that is a heads up on that. Do we have any questions? Because at this point, I'm done with the updates and want to open it up for committee member comments or questions. That was a lot of information. Sorry, if I was confusing at any point, you know, ask me to clarify. Yes, Mark.
Hi, will the 600-page report be posted?
Yes, it is posted. And you can see our last sunset report, which is on our website. If you just do a general search for sunset report or sunset review, it'll pop up. So you can see that it was 2019 was the last time that we went through sunset, and it was right after I started, and I did testify in front of, I think, at least 1 committee. I can't remember, maybe 2. But yeah, we sailed through, no issues. I anticipate similar this year.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other committee members with any comments or questions? Okay, I'm going to open it up for general public comment or questions.
And this is the moderator. If any member of the public wants to make a comment on Lynn's report, you can look for the question mark icon in the lower right corner of your WebEx screen, Click that, type the word comment, and click send. Or anyone may also raise their hand by clicking on the hand icon. And if you're a call-in user, you can press *3 to raise your hand. And reminder, this is for comments on the chief's report. And I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please. Thank you, moderator. Okay, next agenda item is our licensing update. Our super competent Deputy Chief of Licensing, Gloria Garcia, will be presenting this information today. Gloria, you're still muted.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to announce that the licensing unit has a new manager, Robin Evans, and she currently oversees the employee licensing applications. It's a very busy unit, and we're happy to have her on board. And to date, shifting gears, we have two license types that can renew earlier than 90 days, but no later than 120 days prior to license expiration. And those license types are security guards and alarm company employees. As mentioned in the last advisory committee hearing that we had in November of last year, the licensing unit analyzed the statistics, and we wanted to better understand if it would be beneficial to allow the remaining license types to also be able to renew earlier than the 90 days. So the statistics showed that 11% of the security guards who were scheduled to renew between August 2022 through February 2023 applied earlier than 90 days. And the other license type, the alarm company employees, data showed about the same, 10% of that industry applied earlier than 90 days. So although at that time we only had 4 months of data, it was enough to support and extend permitting online renewals for the remainder of the license types. And the reason being is the goal is really to get as many licensees as possible to renew earlier, to avoid any delays and potential negative impact to their employment. So we're trying to do what we can to license as quickly as possible. With that being said, it is also very important that you help us spread the word to have licensees and applicants to include their email addresses, because we are starting to send out notifications as far as when licenses are renewed, they're issued, or they're coming up for renewal. And right now I'm going to go ahead and start talking about some statistics that we also took a look at. And we were trying to get a better understanding what that population looks like as far as how many of our license types include their email address. So I was hoping, moderator, if we can share, thank you so much, the chart here, and I'll go ahead and explain a little bit of them. So the first one that you all are seeing is the percent of employee licensees utilizing email communication. So just to kind of illustrate a couple, the guards, they're doing phenomenal. We have 70% of the license types that include their email address. And this is a positive correlation as far as the turnaround times are faster, because they get these notices reminding them to renew, or issuing that we issued their license. They get that notification sooner rather than the mail. So I highly continue to encourage that. Another one, just to kind of point out here, let's see, alarm company employees, I show 48% have their email included. Locksmiths have 39%, which include their emails. So now I will look at the other chart. And this chart right below, it's the percent of company licenses utilizing the email communication. So the first one being the private patrol operators, it's at 61%. I would like to see that a little bit higher. And let's see, training facilities at 71%, proprietary security employers at 44%. So just putting it out there, there is a positive correlation, as I just said, that the ones that do have their email address are renewing faster and the processing times tend to be faster as well. I will go ahead and talk about some BSIS changes. And they're specifically called the BSIS Maintenance and Operations Ticket. So I'll be saying BMOs, but that's essentially what it means. So for the first two bullet points, the BMOs, 2290 and 2286, they're two different license types. So one is the proprietary security employer, and the other one is the alarm company operator. So these two efficiencies, we were able to set up with our BSIS database, a letter to notify the licensees when their license is suspended for failure to maintain good standing with the Secretary of State and or the Franchise Tax Board. The third bullet, which is BMO 2278, this is for the proprietary security employer. And this is a letter that we're able to generate from our database, from BSIS, and notifying the licensees of our intent to suspend the license for failure to maintain good standing with the Secretary of State and or the Franchise Tax Board. And then the last BMO 232, this BMO was added to add new logic to the governing rule to prevent a new application from being opened under an existing file number. So it's essentially to protect the integrity of our licenses. And lastly, outreach. So in February of this year, the Bureau sent an announcement to all its email subscribers, reminding them for the alarm company operator and the private investigators, limited liability companies to submit their annual insurance claim reporting form that was due no later than March 1st of this year. And I'm pleased to announce that we had 100% participation for both industries. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Gloriella. I'm going to open up for questions on the licensing unit presentation from our advisory committee members. Okay, Glenn, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, a quick question regarding the application, and I apologize, I don't know. Is it something that you can require the email address as part of the application process?
Great question. It is. We will consider that, but it will definitely have to be in the law. It currently isn't. So it will be a long, drawn out process, but that is definitely something we're considering. So initially, we're trying just to kind of put out there, like, please help us, help you by word of mouth. But yes, definitely something we would consider.
Yeah, and if I could jump in, Glenn, one of the things that surprised me a little when I started this job was the applications are very heavily regulated. Like, we cannot just say, you know what, we see a shortfall, or we see, you know what, I think this would be an improvement on the current application if we, do this, that, or the other. It almost always takes legislation for us to get the authority to ask for additional information. So, or to mandate additional information rather. So, we try to do the carrot approach, first. So, I mean, it is something that we have, been trying to encourage our licensees and applicants to be better about. But yeah, it's not mandatory yet, and we would like that. Good point. All right, any other, Mark?
So that that's a great number, 11% from earlier than 90 days. And on the email, okay, so, and that's a nice number also on the guards. I think it was 67%. But okay, so you advise the guard applicants via email on renewal, and then if you've issued a license, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. If we issued a license, so for initial applications, the applicants will receive an email saying you've been licensed. For renewals, the licensees will receive an email that your license has been renewed. And now we're starting to also send email notifications to all of our industry members, informing them, hey, your time is up for renewal. Consider renewing.
That's good. Do you mail deficiency or do you email it or both?
We currently mail deficiency letters.
And do you have any plans to email them?
Yes, we do, definitely. That's something we can definitely consider. And we'll probably take a look at the industry members as who are, what's the word, participating more with providing their email address first, just to kind of see where that takes us. So security guards, they're high up there. So definitely that would probably be the first license type to consider generating those deficiency letters to that license type.
And if I remember in past meetings, are you notifying on if you have an account with BSIS and you're applying for a firearm card, is the deficiency discussed in your account?
Yes, yes. So thank you for that. For firearms, the deficiency letters, the deficiency, not the letter, but the deficiency reasons are in the BRIS account. That is available. It hasn't been utilized as much as we would have liked it to be. But that is also an option. We were trying to see if those letters would be available to the industry members right away on our database. It's not as easy. So we might have to consider talking to outside vendors, because the workaround is having just the reasons, the deficiency reasons on the BRIS account in lieu of the letter, which I feel would be better. So we're trying to work that out.
Nice. And okay, and then I don't remember if it was you or Lynn that discussed the alarm online application is mandatory. It's great legislation the alarm industry got through, and we've talked about this a lot and for guarding. But if guarding had the same legislation, would it free up a lot of BSIS resources if they didn't have to process paper?
Yes, it would, Mark. It would free up a lot of BSIS resources.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what happens a lot of times, and we are very sympathetic to this argument, is that you would disenfranchise some folks, for sure, like the people who don't have access to a computer or smartphone. And unfortunately, that is a not insignificant chunk of our guard population. So we would have to get permission from the legislature to do so. And I would anticipate, from just initial talks with legislative staff, that this would probably not be something that we could get through very easily, because you will have this, 5, 10, 20% of the population that will come and say, we don't have access to a computer. I can't do this easily. I need to do it on paper.
You can't, I wonder, you probably can't apply on a phone, can you? I mean,
You can't. So we made our site, when we upgraded our website a couple of years ago, we made it mobile friendly. So it automatically clicks into mobile mode when you have your phone. You could, it would be harder. It's,
Yeah,
but theoretically, we were told that you can apply on your phone. So it's not impossible. It would just be yet another hurdle for, somebody.
yeah, I don't think I could figure it out, but I think that I've never met a guard who didn't have a cell phone. So I don't know if there's an argument there or not.
I was at a disciplinary hearing a while back, and the cell phone there was a 80-year-old guard there, and he had a flip phone. So
Yeah,
like that kind of applicant would be somebody that we would potentially be disenfranchising accidentally.
yeah. So if we could figure out an alternative, easy method or somewhere they can go, we might be able to get it through. But you're right. It right now it'd be uphill battle.
Yeah.
Um, are you still, remember, Lynn and Gloriella, you were experiencing some DOJ delays a while back? Is that still, happening?
It is, we have to wait. We are only as quick as DOJ is in clearing fingerprints. They are quick about a lot of them, but there are always a substantial portion that there's nothing wrong with their background. They don't have any arrest history or anything like that. But for whatever reason, DOJ can take like 6, 7 weeks to clear them. And we can't figure out rhyme or reason for why these delays happen. So yeah, so we're still, I think that is going to happen in perpetuity. We're always going to be at the mercy of DOJ and their speed.
But that's probably a small population, am I correct?
It ebbs and flows. Sometimes DOJ will experience heavier volumes on their end. This is the explanation we've gotten. And it can be tough to estimate like what percentage of our applicants or renewals, initial licensing, is having issues with fingerprints. Sometimes it's a significant chunk, sometimes it's not. But again, this is an agency that, doesn't hand out a lot of information on what's happening within them. So we can't ever quite pinpoint what the issue is, unfortunately.
So if there's a delay, let's say it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and the record is clean, when it comes over to BSIS, do the computers talk and it's automatically at what point do the computers not talk? And now somebody has to physically go in and process it.
Right. So the computers don't talk if the person uses a different name on their live scan form that they do on their online application. So if you have an applicant who is, let's just say, her name is Lynn Jensen, on my live scan form, I put Lynn Jensen. On my application, I put, Lynn, Euphigenia Jensen.
Yeah.
That's when they don't talk. You need to use the exact same name, it's spelled the exact same way on both. And only then will it auto match. And then what happens is every day we have staff that go into the tank, as we call it, where the fingerprint results are waiting that are not matched. And they will go in and manually match them up. So this is just one of the many processes that we do on a daily basis.
But if there's a DOJ delay and it comes over and the names match, they could still 3 weeks later, they could still auto match, right?
Yeah.
Indefinitely?
I would imagine. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
that I've looked into that particular thing, but I do think if both names match up, and I don't think length of time matters, but Gloriella, have you ever heard of?
It wouldn't matter, but for the abandonment rate. So if it takes longer than what our system has, for the application to essentially be deemed completed, then that's that caveat, basically. If it takes longer than the year allotted, but our system has a little cushion to get everything squared away prior to licensure.
So it's safe to say that any delay is due to a background or a deficiency at this point.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes.
good. That's excellent. Thank you, you guys.
Yep. Right, any other committee member with questions on licensing? Okay, open it up for public comment or questions on licensing.
And this is the moderator. We're displaying instructions on the screen. If you would like to make a comment on the licensing unit operations report, you can look for the question mark icon, type the word comment and click send, or you may raise your hand by clicking on the hand icon. And if you are a call-in user, you can use *3 to raise your hand. Any comments on the licensing report? I see no requests for comment. Shall I close that public comment option?
Yes, please, moderator. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 6, which is the update on the Bureau's enforcement unit. And we have our equally awesome Deputy Chief of Enforcement, Sam Stadolsky, making that presentation today.
Right. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Thanks. Sometimes it turns me into a robot. You never know. So, all right. A lot's going on in enforcement these days. So, one of the things that we're working on is implementing our PSE inspection program. 2515, which Lynn will talk about when we get to that update. That bill added new enforcement provisions for proprietary. So we're working with our staff on putting together the inspection program. It'll be very similar to like a PPO inspection because it's similar records that have to be in there. So we'll be getting those worked on, getting staff trained up and ready to go. If you guys remember, we also used to have the pocket cards on the website that had the information about the different security requirements, right? So, we talk about proprietary versus private security, what a guard could do, couldn't do, all of that. We've removed those from our website because they're now very, very outdated. Between AB 229 and now AB 2515, there's a lot of changes that are going on. So we're working on updating that, and it's a joint effort between policy and enforcement because we want to make it as detailed and robust as possible. We also want to make a law enforcement version so that they're aware of, where potential violations of the Practice Acts actually result in possible violations of the penal code. So we've been working on that. If you remember, for several years, we were bombarded with all of our firearm assessment appeals. That was really clogging things up with the Attorney General's office. We're finally down to only 13 pending. We had 37 back in November. Now we're down to 13 that are still clinging on for dear life. So it's a good thing, though. Those will be finalized. Most of our cases at the AG's office are going to be more enforcement-related cases. So, we're pursuing more discipline in that regard. If you remember as well, with AB 229 had changed the reporting requirements. So the incident reports that we received from private security went up drastically. That has since been tweaked and fixed a little bit with AB 2515. So we're not getting all the medical restraints that we were having reported to us. So our complaint intake unit, back in November, they had about 600 pending cases and 319 of those were incident reports. That's where we're at now. So last November, we had 460 incident reports. Now we're down to 319. So they're working on cleaning those up, buttoning them up, and closing out those cases because they've definitely been, a lot of volume, very time consuming. So we're glad to be done with them. If you look at the last page in the report, that last table, if you could scroll down, Carrie. One of the things I wanted to point out that is pretty good. If you look at the unlicensed activity citations for fiscal year 21-22 and look at fiscal year 22-23 year to date where we're at, we've actually issued more this year than we did the entire fiscal year last year. We still have a couple months left. These numbers were run about a month ago. I think I've signed probably 5 or 6 more just in the last week. So unlicensed activity, we're making good headway. We have 2 special investigators who are out in the field all the time. They're lining them up left and right. Especially like Fresno's become an area where there's a lot going on, Bakersfield. So, you know, fortunately for them, they get to travel and stay in Fresno and Bakersfield, but, you know, we're definitely making positive effort on addressing unlicensed activity. But with that comes the other part of we're down a lot of staff within the enforcement program in all 3 units. The enforcement unit recently had some retirements. We had some folks lateral out. So we've just onboarded 2 new staff in the past couple months. So they're going through training right now. So that kind of slows things down as, you know, they have the learning curve and actually getting out in the field with the other staff. Our disciplinary review unit got hit pretty hard. We had several folks retire. We had some promotions. We had some internal promotions. While it's great for them, it kind of leaves us we're short staffed. So just to, you know, give you an idea of that, we went from having 7 analysts reviewing rap sheets that come in every day to only 2. And so with that means that the ERU manager, Tina, and I get to work evenings and weekends and doing rap sheets. So that's been, for the past few months, we're definitely behind in where we'd like to be. Normally we try to have, you know, our timeline runs from when the rap sheet comes in, when we receive the rap sheet. We usually want that review done in the first week or 2 that we have it, so that staff have time to process a denial if it's going to result in a denial. So normally that process, we try to be somewhere between like 2 and 4 weeks. Right now, I think we're sitting probably about 6 to 8 weeks. So we spent several days in interviews. We're in the process of onboarding some more staff. So we'll, you know, we fully anticipate kind of digging ourselves out of the hole a little bit, but we're working on it. So just expect that, you know, if you have applicants who have a rap sheet, it's going to take a little longer to review and process that than it normally would. I think that's it for me. If anybody has any questions.
All right, thanks, Sam. Okay, as Sam finished up, so any committee members have any questions for Sam on enforcement issues? Okay, looks like you did a good job, Sam, and nobody has any questions. All right, I'll open it up for public comment.
And this is the moderator. We've opened up the WebEx Q&A feature to facilitate public comment. If you have any comment on the enforcement report, you can look for the question mark icon, click that, type the word comment into that text box and click send, or anyone may raise their hand to ask to speak. And if you are a call-in user, you can press *3 to raise your hand. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. And again, this is on the enforcement report. And I do not see any requests to comment. Shall I close the public comment feature?
Yes, please. Thank you, moderator.
You're welcome.
All right, so here is the agenda item that I think most attendees are here for. This is the update on 2022-2023 legislation impacting the Bureau and private security industries. So the first bill on the agenda is AB 1244 by Assemblymember Holden. This impacts private security services and private investigators. The bill does 3 main things. One of the things I also want to point out is this is not a BSIS sponsored bill. We are offering technical assistance only in the same way that we do to anybody else, any other legislator who introduces a bill that impacts the Bureau. So the bill does three things. It brings into compliance with all of our other qualified license types, the qualified manager for PPOs and PIs. And it also adds additional hours requirement for licensure as a company, PPO company, a private patrol operator. This is also, I don't think it's officially sponsored by CalSaga, but this is a bill that they're working on with Assembly Member Holden. So that's AB 1244. AB 2515 is from last year. This bill impacted the proprietary security services, and it also added a renewal option for baton permits. Right now, it's currently a lifetime designation. This would make it a 2-year permit in line with our other 2-year permits, or licenses rather, sorry. Senate Bill 1443 from last year and Senate Bill 1495 from last year are technical amendments. One of those bills, I can't remember which one, but one of them extended the sunset for a year for us. So we were happy about that. And then a bill from 2022 is dead. This was AB 1662 by Assemblymember Gibson. So those are the 5 bills that dealt with, and currently I think 1244 is the only one in the current session. The other 4 were from last year. The AB 2515, which would impose additional requirements, including additional reporting and training requirements on the proprietary folks. We are currently implementing that. It was a detailed enough bill that we do not need to run regulations on it, thankfully. So yeah, so we're doing outreach right now with our proprietary folks and in our training facilities on the baton permit implementation. So those are the bills, and let's go ahead and open it up for questions from committee members. Yes, Frank.
Surprise, surprise. Thank you, Lynn, and thank you, Sam, very much. Not only as a private investigator, but as president of Cali, we obviously have some concerns with this bill. We completely support the protection of the consumer, and we want to give Sam the tools he needs to go after bad actors. Personally, I just think this is, as far as private investigators go, I can't speak towards PPOs, but as far as private investigators go, we're concerned it's taking a sledgehammer to an ant. We understand there's some bad actors out there, but there's 6,000 to 7,000 qualified managers, private investigators such as myself, who would never and have never acted as a QM for any other company but my own. So we look forward to continuing to work with the Bureau and the author of this bill to come up with a reasonable solution and compromise where we can make sure Sam can do his job and where we are not subject to possibly double licensing fees or other things that would greatly impact, the 99% of the population that is not the problems, the cause or the problem. So again, Sam and Lynn, thank you very, very much for the time.
Appreciate it, Frank. Okay, any other committee members, questions, comments? No, okay, seeing none, let's open it up for comment from the public. One of the caveats I want to make, because there are a lot of people who wish to speak, is there is a 3-minute limit on comments, and we will be holding to that. So thank you.
And this is the moderator, and it looks like people know how to raise their hands, but I will go through all the options. If you would like to make a comment, you can look for the question mark icon and type the word comment into the text box there and click send, or anyone may raise their hand by clicking on once on the hand button. If you click again, it will lower your hand, so just keep an eye on which that is. And our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. I will be attempting to go in order. We'll give a 3-minute limit with a 30-second warning. So our first request to comment was from Jay Paulino. Jay, I will send you a request to unmute and you'll have 3 minutes. You're unmuted. Oh, Jay, you disappeared. All right. Okay, Jay, are you reestablishing your connection? It looks like. All right, so we're gonna skip ahead one to Jim Zimmer. Jim, you'll have 3 minutes. And you're unmuted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, good. My name is Jim Zimmer. And have been a licensed private investigator since 1986. My residence and my office are in San Juan Capistrano. I am a qualified manager for myself. I'm not a QM for anyone else. Excuse me. I'm a past president of the California Association of Licensed Investigators. I'd like to go on record as being opposed to AB 1244 in its current form, because it would require me and the vast majority of licensed PIs who are sole proprietors like myself to obtain and pay for a second license to be a qualified manager of myself. So I'm the person who took the PI exam, and my PI license states that I'm a licensed private investigator and that I am the principal and qualified manager. So why would I need a second license so that BSIS would have disciplinary authority? That doesn't make sense, and it would impose a great hardship to people financially to have to pay for a second license. So I'm urging BSIS and DCA to consider and approve amendments that are being offered by Cali, which hopefully would solve any issues with enforcement authority. Thanks very much for your time.
All right, and I do see that we have Jay Paulino back in the meeting. Jay, I'm going to send you a request to unmute. It should come in as a pop-up on your phone. All right, we may have lost Jay once more. We will move on to the next request for comment, which is from Sean. Sean, I'm sending you a request to unmute, and you'll have 3 minutes. You're unmuted.
My name is Sean. I'm the content creator of a YouTube channel. CalSaga does not represent the security industry. Matter of fact, they represent maybe 3 of the largest security companies. I'm voicing my opinion to oppose AB 1244 and requesting BSIS work with Mr. Holden's office to modify the language. Please let me explain. This creates a disadvantage for a free market. AB 1244 keeps the top 3 security companies in California in power. There are constant complaints on the level of service, professionalism, and on the employees they hire. AB 1244 will allow these companies to potentially monopolize the industry. There will be less competition by small and new companies who can offer better service. AB 1244 narrows the candidate funnel of private security qualified managers. It may create a system of racial or economic disparity. For example, many minorities reside in economically disadvantaged communities. Someone from one of these communities is more likely than not to start their own security company to gain higher wages. Also, if it passes, their dreams of starting a security company are going to end. They're going to have to travel to an economically advantaged community and proceed with years of long commutes just to get promoted to this manager position. This bill discriminates against honorable military veterans. Only military officers, not the enlisted, would be able to qualify. This law also discriminates against law enforcement. Your 1 year of law enforcement management experience would not count. It has to be under a PPO license. I'll give you an example of how this has an effect. Lauren Hill just recently got promoted as the chief of campus safety for USC. She's in charge of 300 full-time officers. She has 30 years of full-time campus law enforcement experience. Under AB 1244, she would need to work under a private security company for a year and be under a management capacity. Technically, she could be hired at the position of captain and guard a sewer plant in the middle of the night for 1 year. Just get that promotion to captain, and that's going to defeat the purpose of the bill. There's other things that we can do. We can consider a grandfather clause, maybe even a certificate program for business operations. I encourage you, BSIS, to please work with Mr. Holden's office to modify the language. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And it looks like we can try Jay Paulino one more time. Jay, I'm going to send you a request to unmute. You're unmuted, Jay.
Thank you so much. So good morning. My name is Jay Paulino. I am a licensed private investigator. I also, take part with CALI, the California Association of Licensed Investigators, and I share a very similar sentiment regarding opposing a bill like AB 1244 that would require me to obtain and pay for a second license to be a qualified manager for myself. I truly believe that the majority of us here in California are in similar shoes. We do not act as qualified managers for many different companies. A lot of us just work independently as sole proprietors. We work as, just for ourselves. And so to put us in a position to pay for additional fees to have, a second license or just to multiply that in general would definitely put us in a hardship. And so, I just appreciate the time and the opportunity to just be able to engage in this conversation with all of you. A lot of us, have busy schedules, but when we look at something like this, it definitely is important to be able to come and take time and to be able to voice these concerns, especially when it can impact a lot of us. So again, thank you for everything that you guys do. We're all in support to protect the consumers, but at the same time, with something like this, we definitely want to be able to voice those concerns and make sure that we definitely make a statement about it. So thank you.
Moderator, do you have any more questions from public? Questions, comments?
Yes, we do. Anna Stowe, I'm sending you a request to unmute. And Anna, you should see a pop-up on your screen. All right, at this point, then I will skip on to Jim Zimmer. Jim, I'm sending you a request to unmute.
I believe Jim already spoke.
I already spoke. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll lower your hand. Perfect. All right. Goodness. All right, let's try calling user 10. I'm going to send you a request to unmute, and you can use *6 to unmute.
Hello,
Okay,
committee. My name is, yes, ma'am. My name is Tony Barreto. I've been in the security industry. I'm currently a licensed registered armed guard here in California for about 25 years. I've started my career at a young age, and I have done security, all different types of security, anywhere from nightclub security, patrol, special events, and went on to investigations. I did bail bonds investigations for about 9 years and ended up also doing executive high profile bodyguard for celebrities in Hollywood. And more recently, I began a PSC operation for my employer here in my county. in which I worked for about 6 months. Unfortunately, I am on a work injury at this time. I say all that to say this, to oppose this current law in its current format, because although I'm a Native American, I'm currently, unfortunately, low income because of my injury. My vast experience in this industry in many areas, I am hopeful, and I've been working towards a goal when I get better and healthier to begin a PPO operation in which I would be a great benefit here in my county in the private patrol industry with patrol and guard services and special events, etc. However, with this current written version of the law, I would be completely disfranchised from my industry that I have basically strived to be a professional in for 25 years. It has no room for equity to include me as a disabled American, as an American who has been here my whole life, protecting others in the state of California. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. I urged BSIS to work with Mr. Holden to rewrite this in a way that includes everybody, including individuals like myself. I want to succeed. I want to promote this industry with the highest standards, but this version is completely undoable for individuals like myself. And I would again urge the committee and BSIS to work with Mr. Holden to rewrite this to include everybody so we all can be successful and maintain a high level of standard professionalism in the security industry. Thank you.
Thank you. And I did get a comment from Anna Stowe, who is unable to unmute. Would it be acceptable for me to read that aloud?
Sure.
Certainly. So Anna Stowe says, I would like to know why the PI Act limits the number of people a QM can have under their license if there is no way to enforce it. And the next raised hand is from calling user 8. Calling user 8, I'm sending you a request to unmute. You can use *6 to unmute.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Jay Rosenzweig, and I'm also a past president of the California Association of Licensed Investigators, and I'm currently their chairman of the board. And I've been a licensed private investigator for 35 years, since 1988. And all this time, I didn't know that there was a number that went with my license number other than a QM number. And what concerns me about this bill, agreeing with my colleagues Jay and Jim, that one of our main concerns is that we would possibly be required to have 2 licenses. And I just want to make sure that that does not happen. We are small businesses. I personally work out of my home. I have a small company, and to pay for 2 licenses would be really harmful. It doesn't make any sense, and it's possibly an easy fix for the Bureau. And that's really all I have to say, and thank you for having me today.
All right, thank you. And our next request for comment is from, let's see now, call-in user 10. I don't know if this is a repeat. Let's see, I'm going to go to call-in user 4. Call-in user 4, I'm sending you a request to unmute, and you can press *6 to unmute yourself.
Good morning. My name is Bill, and I rise with the others in question and opposition to the present form of AB 1244. I feel that it needlessly complicates the development of qualified managers. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I rise in opposition to the present form of AB 1244. I feel that it needlessly complicates the development of qualified managers and the ability to create new security companies where they may be needed, even very small ones in very limited areas, which cannot be effectively served by a large national company. And are you taking questions? Are you taking comments on any other bill at this time?
Only the bills that I mentioned in my update.
Okay. Are you taking I'm sorry, I've been trying to pay attention. Are you taking comments on AB 2515 by any chance?
Sure.
Okay. It's my understanding that among the general public, they are normally allowed to carry chemical weapons and electrical weapons of various types. I sort of question the wisdom of restricting any security personnel, PPSO or a security guard from carrying that type of equipment. And that's my comment.
All right, thank you. And our next request for comment is from Eric. Eric, I'm going to send you a request to unmute. You're unmuted.
Officer in the state of California, and I just wanted to approve the bill as it's written in agreement with all the other people. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next request for comment is from Anthony Hopkins. Anthony, I'm sending you a request to unmute. You're unmuted.
Yes, thank you. You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes, my name is Anthony Hopkins. I'm a licensed private investigator. My license number is 11786. And if you look up my license, you will find that I became licensed by the state of California in 1986. 37 years, never had a complaint or any sort of enforcement or disciplinary action in 37 years. The reason I'm calling is in opposition to AB 1244. I am a qualified manager strictly and solely for my own agency. On my my private investigator license, it has my name, my business name, and my personal name, and on my identification card, my PI ID card, it has my name and business name. There is absolutely no reason for BSIS to impose on someone who is a QM for their sole QM for their business to have to separately and redundantly obtain a secondary QM license. This is something that sounds like an internal type of IT type of problem that has developed within BSIS system, and what they're looking to do is to add another layer onto licensees, particularly the ones that are QMs for their own business. So it's certainly would add a burden onto me to have to pay double fees. I've been paying fees for 37 years, and to double those now would be, I think, burdensome. So thank you for taking my comments.
All right, thank you. And our next request for comment is from Mark McLean. Mark, I'm going to send you a request to unmute. And you're unmuted. Go ahead.
I'm a licensed private investigator in Montclair, California, and past president of Cali. I've been a licensed investigator since 1989, and I oppose AB 1244 in its current form as well. My question is, what are the situations where a qualified manager has harmed consumers? And how does BSIS enforce the misconduct of a QM at this time? That is all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And let me check in with call-in user 10. I'm not sure if you have a new comment or if this was still a hand raised from earlier. I sent you a request to unmute if you do have a new comment.
Hi, thank you. I actually didn't put a request, but I did have just a quick comment. One of the individuals mentioned, I believe he said AB 1214. I could be wrong, specifically regarding the carrying of OC and non-lethal weapons. Again, my name is Tony Barreto, a licensed armed guard here in California for 25 years. I just want to oppose that. I'm not familiar with it, but just listening to what he briefly said, that would basically unarm some of my PSC, PSOs under the PSC license I established for my employer, who work in dangerous conditions. They will not be allowed to carry any defensive weapons whatsoever. And that's very, very dangerous in our industry, given today's climate. And I would urge that that be either overturned. I don't know where it's at right now in the process, but that would not be a wise decision for BSIS to impose those types of restrictions on any guard. Any person should be able to lawfully defend himself with proper tools that are legal in the state of California to average citizens. They should be offered to guards as well. I just wanted to briefly say that. Thank you.
I'm just gonna just jump in here real quick. That was a law that passed last year. So it's already being implemented.
And this is last call for comments on legislation. If you have not raised your hand yet, you may do so now. If you're a call-in user, you can press *3 to raise your hand. Okay, we have call-in user 5. I'm going to send you a request to unmute. You can press *6 to unmute yourself. Go
Yes,
ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Charles Rafferty. I'm a licensed private investigator in Solano County, California. I oppose the AB 1244 for the purposes of I fall in suit with my other Cali members. I am a board member with that organization. I've been licensed for 23 years. I've been told that I had another number assigned to me as a QM that I didn't know. So I want to say thank you for that. I took the PI license myself as a QM for my company. I did not take a license test for a QM. So I oppose this AB 1244 for those reasons. We have to stick together as Cali members, and we support Francie Kohler and Jerry Desmond's efforts, along with Frank Huntington, to keep us abreast of what's going on out in the real world. I'm in the field right now, so I need to let go. Have a blessed day, and thank you for letting me talk.
All right. And this is the moderator. It appears that there are no more requests to comment. Shall I close the public comment feature?
Yes, please. Thank you, moderator.
You're welcome.
Okay, so update on the next up is, first of all, I want to thank everybody who commented. I would hope, because this is not, again, this is not a BSIS bill. We are merely helping with technical amendments. I would hope that you guys are directing these comments towards the author's office. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 8, which is an update on enacted or pending regulations. I'm sure you guys are sick and tired of hearing me talk about AB 229. This is a bill that passed in 2021 that updates the powers to arrest and use of force guidelines and training for the Bureau. This is taking a long time because we have had to completely overhaul not just the training, but our 2 training manuals, our powers to arrest and appropriate use of force training manual and our firearms training manual. And those are over 100 pages each. So the draft regulations have been over at legal for some time, and we are going back and forth with changes and additions and this and that and everything else. And it has been an absolute monster of a regulatory package. So it is working through the steps. Again, want to remind everybody that these new training requirements go into effect July 1 of this year. So in 2.5 months, There are certain steps that we have to take. So one of those steps is public comment period. So we're going to post it at the appropriate time when it gets cleared by everybody it needs to get cleared by. We will post them on our website. So again, please subscribe to our listserv to get all updates from the Bureau. And we will send out the comments on a public, we will send out the regulatory package and ask for public comments, you know, in the not too distant future. So how to sign up for these email updates would be go to bsis.ca.gov, our website. Scroll down just a little bit. It's going to be on the right-hand side. It's going to be subscribe to Bureau's email updates. So we have a ton of stuff that go out, not just, you know, updates on our regulatory actions. We also have lists every week that go out in terms of who we have suspended or revoked their licenses. We have important updates on legislation. So I would encourage everybody to sign up for those because they, in lieu of us sending out, you know, multiple email blasts to everybody that we have emails for, we do it through our listserv. So it's a handy place to get updates. So that is a good thing for everybody to sign up for. Okay. I am opening it up for any committee member comments or questions on agenda item number 8 on regulations, specifically AB 229 regulations. Any members? Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all out of questions on this one. We all know what's happening with this one. This has been in the works forever. Okay. All right, any public comment on agenda item number 8?
And this is the moderator. We've opened up the public comment feature. If you'd like to comment on AB 229, you can look for the question mark icon, type the word comment and click send, or raise your hand by clicking on the hand icon. And for our call-in users, you may use *3 to raise your hand. Comments on enacted regulations. I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close the public comment feature?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so now we are at the part of the agenda where I throw it open for public comment on items not on the agenda. So if you've got an issue that you want to talk or, you know, provide a comment to the Bureau on and that has not been covered in today's meeting, please feel free to do so at this point.
And this is the moderator, and we've reopened the Q&A feature for public comment for items not on the agenda. If anyone has anything that they would like to mention, certainly keep details of pending cases out of the public discussion, but anything that you'd like to have raised. And again, for our call-in users, while we have the slide up on the screen, *3 will raise your hand for you. And I have a request for comment from call-in user 4. I'm going to send you a request to unmute your microphone. You can use *6 to unmute. Go ahead.
Hello, this is Bill again. Interesting point was raised by a few PIs that a PI needing a QM license or qualification complicates that section of the licensing. I think it might be easier to implement a few different sub-licenses for that, such as PI employee of other PIs, PI sole proprietor, PI QM of a PI company, and that might help to resolve some questions if you looked into that. And I thank you for your time.
All right, any other comments from the public? And remember, this is on items not covered by the agenda.
I do not see any other requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, our next to last item on the agenda is committee members' recommendations for future advisory committee meeting agenda items. Throw 'em my way. Any committee member have something that they are dying for us to talk about at our next meeting? Please let me know. You don't have to let me know right now. You can email me if you don't want to speak, or if you have something else that pops up, later on down the line. All the advisory committee members know how to meet me or reach me, so.
Yeah, I do, Lynn. That's Chris.
Hey, Chris.
I raised my hand.
You did.
Anyway, I just wanted to raise an issue that we're seeing an issue with. I know that all of our PPSO officers or guards are required to carry their license in person, and we've been doing our spot checks too. But it's just a piece of paper. It obviously doesn't hold up very well. As we went through the COVID world that we all lived through, electronic or digital verification was available. So obviously we could carry it on our phone, which I don't know anybody that's not carrying a phone these days. Is there a way we can explore, as opposed to having to have somebody request another license, wait for the delay involved? If we could go to a digital, we could just download, have it in a digital format for proof, it would resolve a lot of our day-to-day problems for ensuring our folks had their license with them. It would just be helpful.
Yeah, and it's actually timely. I've been dealing with a couple of questions on that, and we do, to an extent. Sam, you want to jump in and address this one? Sam, you're still on mute, even though it's showing that you took yourself off mute. Can't hear you. Oh, you got technical difficulties. It was bound to strike. Sam is terrible with technology. Anyway, you can a stopgap measure that we have approved. Okay, Sam, you want to try now? Nope, still muted. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, if you can do a printout of your Breeze page that shows that you're approved, or you can have it on your phone. This is something that we tell people, like, when we send them an approval letter, we say, your card should come in the mail in, a week to 2 weeks, but in the meantime, you can carry, a Breeze printout, or, you can have it on your phone. Do you want to try again, Sam, in case I missed anything? Oh, you're still muted. I would just give up at this point, Sam. I think that
No.
oh, there you go. Hang on. Okay.
It's not just me.
Yeah.
No, so I've had a lot of discussions with our enforcement staff when they're out in the field about this very issue. The law says you have to carry that paper card on you, right? That's the letter of the law. When our staff are interacting with people and they're checking guard cards and doing stuff, if you've got your ID, if you can bring it up on Breeze, if you can just show them in some way and verify that you're licensed, usually they're pretty okay with that. And a lot of the times it's going to be situational. It's going to look at the level of cooperation from the individual, and what they have going on and what the scenario is. A lot of times not having the card is like the least of the issues that we're encountering. So obviously, yeah, I'd always encourage you. Yes, the law says you need to have it, but also understand that, if you can prove who you are and show that you're licensed, then, usually thumbs up, we're okay with that.
And thank you, Sam. I would say that from a field use, obviously, like with the verification of vaccination, it was just nice to be able to just simply have a digital image of the exact information that was that qualified for what we had to show or during that time. Obviously, this is different, and there may be costs involved, obviously, to develop a process like that. It just feels like something that we should be moving towards because everything's digital. It's just going to be a nice way to go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we recognize that. And like Sam said, the letter of the law mandates that you do this, but we are a little more flexible when we're out in the field. And as long as this isn't an ongoing thing, it is something that we show some flexibility on. We show some benevolence on this, Chris. So, okay. All right. Any other member have any questions or comments, suggestions for the next meetings? Yes, Mark.
In regards, that was a good question by Chris. Would you say if somebody shows you, oh yeah, I got a license, let me go to BSIS, does that apply to everybody you like, all the different licenses across the board?
I will let Sam answer that one.
You're welcome, Mark.
Well, okay. I mean, I'm running into the same thing, Sam. And by the way, Sam, I like going to Fresno. But I'm running into the same thing Chris is. Yeah, I have a license. Let me go on BSIS and show it to you where the code says you got to have it on your body. Would it apply to armed people as well?
Ooh.
And you know what? And this is where I've given my staff discretion when they're out there to be like, assess the situation, what you have. If you're armed and you don't have either on you, that's not a good situation, And most of the folks that they interact with have some form of ID. Either they've gone and they've laminated it, they have it shoved in their wallet somewhere, maybe it's crumbling and falling apart, but it's a piece of paper that you get for 2 years, Figure out a way of preserving it as best you can. I think, like I said, in most cases, it's going to be situational. If the person's cooperative, if they have identification.
Okay.
I tell you, there's times where my staff are in the field and people don't even want to identify themselves. And it's like, okay, now you're escalating the situation more where I have to get, PD involved and it's a whole thing. So, run of the mill on average, a guard, hey, I don't have the paper on me. Can I show you, Breeze, here's my ID. You probably have a better situation than an armed guard who's like, yeah, I don't got anything on me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And I will make the statement that I usually make when very good points have been brought up about bureau practice or law is, if this makes sense to you to run a bill, by all means, we'll be happy to offer technical advice on that too. So, all right, anybody else, any other committee member have ideas, comments, questions for next time meeting? Okay, I'm not seeing anybody's hands up. Okay. All right. I want to thank everybody who showed up today. The PI folks who showed up, thank you very much for your comments. We have made notes of all of them. Again, I would recommend that you go to the legislature with your concerns as well. Unless there's anything else, we are going to move to adjournment. All right. So thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your time today and have a nice afternoon.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Gloria. And thank you, Sam, and to the moderators as well.
Yes.
Ditto. Thank you, you guys, everyone.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good meeting.
I look forward to seeing you all in person.
Yeah.
Right on.
All right.
Take
All
care.
right. Next time in person. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.